Almost 9 months to this day, I released my most popular video yet, which was a guide on how to get Apple CarPlay in a P3 Volvo. Now, admittedly, I wasn't expecting the video to blow up that much, and I'm actually very grateful for all of you that's viewed the video. Now, one of the main things I got a lot of comments on, besides the fact that I said that the interior is outdated, or legitimate audio questions that a lot of people had, was how to install a backup camera in the car. And I had actually scripted a video to install a backup camera that I purchased off of Amazon for $20, but I could never get it working until now. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you how I turned this cheap AliExpress in-clake vehicle backup and front view camera and connected it to the aftermarket system in my P3 Volvo, and how you can do that at home to get aftermarket backup cameras for your car instead of paying all that money and taking it to the dealer. My name is Ray. This is a design channel, not a car channel, but for some reason I keep making car videos. If you find this video to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, I would appreciate leaving a comment, liking, subscribing, and letting me know what you want to see me do next. I'm still going to continue to work on a Volvo, and I have lots of projects down in the pipeline, but for now I want to focus on the backup camera. My 2017 P3 S60 is a dynamic, meaning it comes with nothing. Not even a backup camera, no blind spot monitoring assist, no radar, nothing. You name it, it's as bare bones as it gets. And while Volvo never offered Apple CarPlay from the factory, I went ahead and installed it because I felt that driving a car this new and no Apple CarPlay whatsoever made the interior feel outdated. It's outdated. One of the reasons why I installed the aftermarket Apple CarPlay was the ability to add an easy and cheap solution for a backup camera. Now you see, Volvo did offer backup camera modules. They're actually available to purchase at your local Volvo dealership. But you need a lot of wiring and a lot of expensive hardware to get it to interface properly with the main Volvo infotainment system. Now normally this is performed at a dealer, and the dealer would go ahead and install the camera provided that you had the correct module under the passenger side seat. Now I'm not too sure if this is for all the models or if this is just post facelift, if this might be pre facelift, but that's the general consensus that I found on Sweet Speed, the Volvo forum, where you can find everything related to any Volvo basically made ever. What I did find the fact though was that the Apple CarPlay that I plugged in had the ability to install not only reverse cameras, but also front facing cameras, which is going to make my life a lot easier. So I did what anybody did. I went to Amazon and I bought a $20 cheap camera and tried to install it. In our 10-cent camera package, we get our RCA cable left over from the 90s, our power adapter, some clips, and the camera itself, probably as fragile as a cryptocurrency bro's ego, but it'll do the job nonetheless. The first thing you're going to want to do is find out where your Apple CarPlay box is and look for 3 RCA cables. There should be one that allows you to output from something like a game console, and then you're going to get your front camera, and then finally you'll probably have one that's labeled rear camera. Now this guide will not work if you do not have an Apple CarPlay box. The next steps for me were relatively simple. I went to my menus, went all the way to our settings, went to my car settings, and then proceeded to change my reversing camera to use the aftermarket camera. Always make sure to test your camera before running any wiring through the entire car length, and I was able to confirm that mine worked. Make your way around the back where you can see that there's lots of space for us to wire up the cables, remove the trunk liner, get rid of those clips, and then find a spot where you want to mount your camera. Here I decided to do the license plate mounting, but you could feel free to put it wherever you feel comfortable. Using a T20 screw bit, get rid of those 2 screws so they can make way for you to route the cables. And I just pulled the cable all the way through to the other side and I had no problems. This next step is completely optional, but what you want to do is find 12-volt consistent power, which you're able to find with the smaller cables. Don't go for the big cables, bad mistake. Always go for the smaller one, that's that 12-volt constant. Double check to make sure that it has consistent 12-volt power, and once that's confirmed, you're ready to rock and roll. Skip the scotch lot, splice directly into the cable, and once you can confirm you got power, connect it to the front. Next, where all the souls of the damned go is the cable management process, which shouldn't be too bad. Just run it to the back, tuck it on its side, and you shouldn't have any issues. Moment of truth, throw the car into reverse and make sure that everything works fine. This car has a CAN sensor, so it automatically knows when it's in reverse, so you don't have to worry about those 2 little red cables at the end of the plug. Overall, the install took me roughly 3 hours, mostly because I had to stop and take pictures and videos so that I can further document it on forums such as Reddit and SweetSpeed. I would say that the difficulty of the install wasn't too hard. It was really just the clips and figuring out the wiring. The good news is that there's lots of places to tuck wire, and the bad news is that those clips are basically indestructible, and I mean, they break easily. I can't figure out how to get them out. Personally, that was the last thing that I really could think to do for the camera system on my car. Yes, it is possible for you to install a front camera, but considering the way that the glove box is set up, I didn't really see how it was possible to route a cable from the front of the car all the way into the glove box. Overall, would I say that it's worth it? Yes, I would say that it is worth it to install a backup camera in your car if you don't have one. I mean, it doesn't really do anything for you if you're really good at driving and you don't need to use a backup camera, but it does make it easier for things like parallel parking, along with basically just gauging the distance and really hard to read like lines and stuff like that, or just seeing if there's a giant pothole waiting for you to send your car to. It happens. If you found this video to be helpful, or if you have any questions, I appreciate you leaving a like, a comment, and of course subscribing. Once again, I'm utterly and completely blown away by how popular the last Volvo install video is. I do have 2 more things that I want to do with this car that requires doing a little bit of high level research, especially playing around with Vita, the DICE tools, and the P3 tool overall, and that's going to require me to do a fair amount of car programming that could potentially brick my car. If you guys do want to see that, I will definitely be open to doing that, maybe explaining how to install something like a different launch screen or an aftermarket TFT display, and maybe remote start in your car if you don't have remote start, and basically teaching you how to skip the dealership altogether. I've been Ray. This has been an installation guide on how to install an aftermarket reverse camera on your Volvo, and I hope you found this video to be useful, and I'll see you guys all next time.